Okay, we just finished our first visit ever as the horror tours to Asylum Xperiment in Villa Park. Asylum Xperiment is at the Odeum. It's a show place in Villa Park, so it has a lot of space, and they really make good use of the space. This used to be Hades Haunted House way back in the 80s.
So 80s in the 80s, very
that's
funny.
Right, 80s in the 80s, but now it's Asylum Xperiment. I'm not sure how long they've been here, but this is the first time we've actually made it out here. And to be honest, we really went because we got a good 2-for-1 deal to come out here. Nothing against going out here, we just don't necessarily like to wait in the long lines. So, but anyway, nevertheless, we came out here, and I have to say it exceeded my personal expectations, and let's hear from everybody else.
Anyway, no, I thought it was great. It exceeded my expectations. Just in the waiting area alone, I mean, they had really great props and sets, and they had actors walking around. They were really good, stayed in character. And there was like this vampire. She looked like something from 30 Days of Night with her teeth and the way her face was like half gone and vampire thing. And that was really good. But all the characters were in... they were all pretty good, all the actors that were in the waiting area. And they had this animated Frankenstein that was really cool. But like I said, once you got inside, I mean, I thought the outside and waiting was great, but once you got inside, it definitely exceeded my expectations because there's just the sets, I mean, it was just like so Hollywood looking, like something from a movie studio. And the different animatronics that they had, everything was well done. They had full-size vehicles in there. I mean, and it was very long, and it seemed longer than it actually was because it was so good. So I really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5. That's up there with one of the top haunts I've seen, like in all the times I've gone.
Is there anything in particular that stood out for you? Unusual?
Well, the thing I liked, and there's one room where you go in, there's a bunch of TVs, and one's showing Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, and they were showing the part with Hermie and everything. And then there's another TV with a scene from Halloween. So, I mean, it's kind of cool. And then another TV has Night on Bald Mountain from Fantasia. So, I mean, it was pretty cool. I liked that scene. But, I mean, that was just something minor compared to all the other big audio animatronics. They had this big alien-looking thing that you went past it several times. And it's just, I don't know, I just thought it was excellent, fantastic. One of the best ones I've been to in all the times I've been going.
This thing, we walk into this place after we buy our tickets and weren't sure about the wait. So we get in there, and yeah, I was just scratching my nose, not picking it for those of you. And we get in there, we see this big room, and we're like, it was enough. The entrance room, just to the entranceway before you go in to hear the rules, was fantastic. It was an awesome haunted house by itself. It had, like Laura said, that Frankenstein's monster. It was animated. It looked cool. It kind of sit with a slump, like it was almost in a slumber, gonna wake up, and it did. It woke up and rose up. Really cool looking. Even up close, it looked good. And it had a bunch of props that would pop up and move. It had a bunch of snowmen that was there. It was, I call him Noah with the Ark. It was supposed to be Santa Claus with making a toy, falling asleep. But had a bunch of stuff to look at while you're waiting, and it had, like Laura said, it had people that were, in character, dressed up, walking around. Actually, quite a few. And even though we stood in line for a while and had to wait, it was worth it. We didn't feel like it was a long time. I mean, we were enjoying it. Oddly enough, even though it's October, it was hot in there. So luckily, Brian and I had our horror tour hats. We were waving. Poor Laura. No hat for Laura. But so that was just the opening. Plenty of stuff to look at. A lot of stuff to look at right before you even go in the house. Even cool characters to see. I mean, that alone is worth. Oh, it's probably. I was gonna say $10, maybe even 15, just for all the stuff you get just right there. It was really cool. But that's not even the house. That's just the gateway, basically. And then while you're waiting and you get up to go in, this really cool guy, what was his name? Do you remember his name? With the hat? He was a tall guy. Anyway, very, very entertaining. He came out, really big looming figure. Could have been scary if he wanted to, but he was more just a very gracious host, and could be funny. And he had this like Louisiana accent, and invited you into his house for hospitality, and got right in my face, was about to invite me to his toilet, but the lady there got onto him. The enthusiasm in the actors, and even just what they say, they all stayed in character real good. And they were real good at what they did. There were so many things to look at. I can't even, my mind is just going, woo, 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 there's so many things to do and so many things to look at. It's like, it felt like it never ended. And unlike the last one we came from, where we just wanted to get out, this one, I went through, I don't know, it was a fireplace or something, and I thought it was the next place, and I thought that was the end, but nope, it was just the wrong way. There was a lot more to see, and I was glad.
You're going the wrong way. Wrong way.
Yeah.
Wrong way.
Wrong way.
Like,
They were so entertaining, just so much. I just better stop. 5 out of 5, easy. This is definitely up there with some of the best of the best. This one is going to be way high up there. Nice to see in 2013, and man, I look weird up close like this. This camera, what is it? High definition?
Yes.
You can see all the little flaws I got already. All right, I'll flip
Only the ones on the outside. Okay.
Oh, you can't see the ones on the inside, so I got a lot of the inside, huh, Brian? Right? All right.
I don't really know what to say about this. There was so much to say. I was trying to.
I can do this. Let's make it easier. Okay.
I was trying to mentally take it in, and you couldn't take it all in. I'll try to remember some of the highlights, but practically every room was a highlight of some kind. I will say this. I got a couple good scares in there. There was one of those air bladder things that we don't like that we were going through, and as I'm going through at the very end, a guy popped out right at the very end. I actually hit him in the face with my hand because I was using my hand to get through, and he got me. He got me good. And it was just that kind of level of fun through the whole thing. As soon as you walked in, the waiting area, the actual mansion looked like a mansion. So it's like you walked up to a path and you're waiting to get into this mansion. The set design was something out of a very elaborate play. They had a dilapidated, destroyed chandelier on top of the kitchen table, or dining room table when you walked in. This giant chandelier that fell from the roof. The living room, the dining room, everything was just
is this the one where they
good.
picked up that table? And
Yes.
we went through? Oh, that was cool. Sorry.
It's actually 3 haunts in one. You go from one to the next to the next. Overall, it takes about 35 minutes. It took us about 35 minutes to go through, and I have to say, there was so much to see, it felt like more than 35 minutes. Everywhere you turned, every set was elaborate. If there were no people in it, the sets were good enough just to say, wow, unbelievable. And here's another thing I'll add to it. The only house that I would say is comparable to this on the level of set design and length is Reaper's Realm in Hammond, Indiana. However, the space here is much better. There's a lot of space. This is in a convention center. They have a lot of floor space, and they use it. Every corridor that you go through is wide. Every passageway, there's no squeezing, no ducking, no getting in tight spaces or anything like that, which is very nice. It lets you look at everything, and you're not feeling claustrophobic. You're not trapped or anything of that nature.
Oh, you said no ducking.
I have to say, there will be a lot of editing on this video, but aside from that, some of my favorite bits in here were things that we've never seen before, but also little good performances. For example, we walked through a passageway, one of the early ones. It was like we were on the inside of a ship that was rolling back and forth, and there were skeletons on the walls. And the entire walls rolled backwards and forwards, and the skeletons came out, went back, came out, went back, and there were lamps on the ground. And this was actually hard to see because you're focused on everything else. But the lamps had little recorded faces on them, like ghostly faces that were talking, saying something. Animated faces. Extremely clever. And it's just that level of detail. As I said, so many sets to see. The first one is a house, and then you go through various rooms in the house and other things. And then you wind up in an elevator, and you go down to some cave system, Subterranea. That was my least favorite because it was mostly dark, but that's not to say it was bad. There was a giant alien in there. There was also another fantastic room in the first part. You walk in and there's this creature, animated creature, very large, made of some sort of swamp netting material. You couldn't really see its face because it's all hidden and it's moving.
I couldn't tell what that was.
And as you're there, this crow-like creature steps out from by the fireplace, blending in, and it had like a crow's face and came out and went like this. Didn't say anything, just... The actors were fantastic. All the Wade entertainment, every single one of them, very entertaining. From one level or another, the Wade entertainment. There were a couple of moments that I thought maybe it was going to be a little bit over the top, a little yelling in your face and stuff, but that really passed. I counted at least 8 full-size vehicles in there that were crashed in different states of repair, disrepair. And we went through this hillbilly cannibal area. They had an entire vehicle inside like an auto repair shop. It was actually really cool. It looked like a full auto repair shop inside there. The other thing I would say, there was an ambulance crash scene, and there was a guy dressed up like a surgeon, and he was standing like a statue. And he jumped out, totally got us because he looked like a statue. And speaking of, there was a courtyard.
Oh, yeah.
This was great.
That was
There was
cool.
a courtyard, and there were 2 statues on plinths, on pedestals. One was fake, one was real. The girl who was real, I've never seen a makeup job like this before because she actually did look like a statue. I was right on top, very close to her. She jumped out at the person in front of me. Didn't even realize that she was a statue. Fantastically good. It was the dress, not just her face. It was the dress, the way the material was put together. Again, way too many things to see. I could go on and on about it, but it's 5 out of 5 in every category. Value for the money, actor enthusiasm, set design, uniqueness, good use of space. Unbelievably good.
It hits them
ranks
all. It
up
really
there.
does.
Every single one of them.
It's every category, doesn't it, Laura?
Yes, it does.
Look,
It's
all right.
5 on all levels.
Easily. This is the best one that I've been to professionally in a long time. I think it's going to shake up our top rankings of all time, too.
Yes, it is.
So, Asylum Xperiment, 5 out of 5.
Awesome. 5 out of 5. Laura?
5 out of 5.
Yeah. This is the Horror Tours. We
Signing
definitely
off.
recommend
Yes.
whatever it was we
Asylum.
just did. Asylum
We
Experiment.
recommend whatever the
We
name is.
recommend
We
what's
don't
its
know.
name, yeah.
The Asylum Experiment, Villa
in
Park.
Villa Park, right.